Hi everybody, we continue review Math 1332. On this problem we have simple interest. So for the simple interest, the interest is equal to just the principal times the rate times time, and the future values is equal to the principal plus the interest, which we factor out the p. We have p plus 1 times 1 plus rt. Right. Let's look at the first one. John Lee's saving account has a balance of that. After 21 months, what will the amount be if the interest is 4.3 per year? So this is pretty straightforward. They ask for the amount of interest. What will be the amount of interest? So they ask for the interest. So we just have to, what we start with is the principal. And the rate 4.3%. I will write that as decimal. And time 21 months. 21 months. We have to convert that in years. So 21 and 12 months a year. So let's do that. So 1.75. And then finally the interest is equal to the principal times the rate times time. Multiply all three of them. Right. So I have 346. 490. Right, so that's what we do. Right, next. Martin takes out a simple interest loan. So the first one is the investment. This is a loan, 4% interest. And after 10 months. Remember, t has always have to be in terms of years. The amount interest is 80.93. What is the amount of the loan? So this question, they switch up and ask us what is the principal. Because the interest is given, the rate and times given, we just need to find what is the original amount or the principal. So we start with I equal to PRT. Just put everything we know. 80.93 equal to the principal, which we don't know. The rate we do know. And the time 10 over 12. Right. Now to get to solve for P, the principal, we just take 80.93 divided by everything here. So 80.93 and then 0.04 times 10 over 12. Right, we have that. And they set round to the nearest dollars. So we have 2400 and 27.9 and round that to the nearest penny, nearest dollar. Right, so that's what we have. Of course, for all of this problem, the unit is dollar. Right, so just start with the formula, write out everything we know and what we're trying to find, and we just find it. Pretty much be straightforward, right? Next, Alan borrowed that, so we know that is what the principal, and he paid after 9 months, so we know the rate, the time, and we know the rate. Find the total amount he will repay, so that is the future values. So let's write out the principal of the loan, 3,900, and he'll repay after 9 months. That is 0.75, 3/4 of a year. Interest 7% or 0.07. The total amount we pay. So A is equal to what? So in the formula, A is equal to P times 1 plus RT. So P is 3,900, and the rate 0.75. Oh, so that is the time, sorry, the rate is 0.07. Pretty much 0.07 times 0.075. Right, I'll just put that on the calculator then. 3,900 is the principal, 1 plus 0.07, that's the rate, and the time is 0.075, and we have 4,100. This one didn't say anything, so we round to the pennies. So very straightforward. So that is the simple interest. Just that formula. Right. Next we have compound interest. Use compound interest formula to compute the future values of investment. So this asks for the future values. So let's just write out the compound interest. A equal to P times 1 plus R over N to the NT. Right? I would, for the first one, I will write out what those symbol for. So A is the future values. P is the principal. R is the rate in decimal. T is the time in years. And we do have the N. But the N here is the number of compounding period. So how many times it is compounded a year. Right, so in this problem we have the principal of 5,500 and 8%. Just going to write a decimal, and for 7 years. And the key part here is monthly, meaning 12 times a year. And with that, we put in the formula. the rate of n, so that's 12 over 12 times 7. So 5500. 1 plus the fraction is alpha y equal and then n 0.08 divided by 12 to the power of 12 times 7. Right, we have $9,610 and 82 cents. Right. So that's what we have on that one. Next we have the future values of investment, 10% interest quarterly for 10 years, 2 years. So just write down everything we have again. 1500. The rate (2 years) and quarterly. Four times a year. Right. So have A of P 1 plus R over N to N T. So 1500. 1 plus the rate over 4 to 4 times 2. Or just write 8 here. Right, we need a fraction here. Right, and the power of 8. Right. So that is 1827.60. Of course, that's how we do that. Just one formula here. But what we can also use is the finance app. Hit apps TVM solver. Alright. So in this case, what is n? By the way, this n is not this n. This n is regular n. That is the capital N. So this n is how many period? So 2 years, 4 times a year. That's what we have. The interest 10%. Right. The present values, or in this case the principal 1500. We're not making any payment. Future values to be determined, but this is 4 times a year. Right. So originally we invest, and I will just find a future value. So it's highlight that, hit alpha, and enter. That's what we have. Right. The only problem is this one has the negative. Well, that's fine. We should put the negative here though, because that is an investment. That's our pocket. 2 years later, we're going to get the positive amount. The money coming back to our pocket. So that's what we do. So to recap, the future values, present values, and payment. Those 3 things. One has to be 0, one has to be positive, and one has to be negative. So in this case, we choose negative as the present values because that's the money we make investment. So that coming out of the pocket. The payment will be 0 because we're not making any monthly payment or whatever the period is. The future values is what we get back in the future. So that check out there. This payment per year or compounding periods year, so those will be the same. This n is how many periods. It's 2 years, 4 times a year, so that make it 8, and the rest will be just that. Right. When we're done with this screen, hit second mode. Back to home screen. Right. Next, find the present values of the given amount. Route that to the nearest cent. Right. So let's just write 8 equal to P 1 plus R to the N to the NT. And this one asks for the present values, not the future values. So we put everything we know again in the formula. The rate 8%, quarterly again, so 4 times a year, and in 8 years. So in this case we asked to find P. So what I do is we put all of this in the calculator first. Right, so we have 1.88. Just write that out. So to get P, we just divide that 4900. Divide by that number. Highlight, enter, copy and paste. 2600. And 10 cents. Right, so that's simple enough. Right, what if we use the app? Right, so this is 8 years, 4 times a year. The interest rate 8%. Right, we know we got 4900 in the future. This is still 4 times a year. So we just highlight the present values, highlight that, hit alpha, and enter. That's what we have to make into that account. Right, so either way. Right, next we have the effective annual rate. I'll round that to the nearest 0.01%. Alright, so in this case, APR, annual percent rate, is 1 minus pretty much the part that we calculated earlier. Actually, the other way around, sorry. That. And we will let t equal to 1, meaning this is the interest for 1 year minus 1. So pretty much that. Straightforward here. 4.7%. Monthly, 12 times a year. Right, so we just do that. Second mode. Too quick. Right. 1 plus alpha y equal 0.047 divided by 12 to the power of 12 minus 1. We have 0.04803 which convert to 4.80%. They want to nearest 0.01%. So that's what we have. Right, same thing on the next one. One plus alpha y equal 0.03 n quarterly 4 times a year to the power 4 minus 1. So it's slightly bigger than 3%. So that is about 3.03%. A car loan of 8,500 is to be amortized over 2 years, 2.9% interest compounded monthly. How much is the monthly payment? So if you ask for monthly payment, we can only use the app here. So we'll summarize here. N is the number of payments total. This is monthly for 2 years. So that would be 24. The interest rate 2.9%. The present values, payment, future values, and then the last two should be the same. A car loan to be amortized, so we will pay off 8,500. And the payment, we don't know that, but the future values is going to be 0. Like I said, 1 is 0, 1 positive, 1 negative. So we just highlight the payment. This asks for the payment, and we just hit alpha and enter. So 2 times 12, interest rate 2.9, 8,500. Future values 0, and this is monthly, so 12 times a year. Payment alpha enter. So we have to make a payment of 264.96. So that's all we do. Next, $5,000 have 7% compound semi-annually, and we have 10 payments total. So again, we'll write out everything. 10 payment totals. The interest rate of 7%. Present value to be paid off 5,000. And the payment we don't know, but that's alright, we solved for it. Future value is equal to 0, and payment per year, compounding payment a year, so that be 2 times a year because that's semi-annually. And we just calculate the payment. So back and highlight the payment, hit alpha, enter. Right. 10, 7, 5,000. Just leave 0 for now. 0 there. And 2 times a year. You see the bottom two always the same. Right, payment highlighted, alpha, enter. 601.21. Right. Next, you want to buy, take out a loan to buy a new car, which you need to finance 24,000. So we need that much. Your bank will loan at 5% compounded monthly. You look at the budget and decide that you can afford that much a month. How many years you have to be paid off that. So in this case, they ask for N, which is how many years. And the next one, the interest rate, we do know 5%. And the present value to be paid off 24,614. Payment we do know is negative 239. Future values is going to be 0, and the payment per year, compounding period a year, is 2. I'm sorry, monthly 12. And we solve for N. Right, We just have to keep 0 there because we want to solve for that later, so that doesn't really matter. 24,614 payment negative 239, future value 0, and that 12. Right, so we'll highlight that and n alpha and we have that much. If we divide by, sorry, let's do that again, alpha and so 134 something divided by 12 times a year, so you have 11 years. Well, that's much longer than the typical car payments, but because we pay too little compared to the amount that we borrow. Right, so that was that. Now we're done with the finance. Now we go to the combination and permutation. So the permutation, if we do this by hand, is n factorial over n minus r factorial, and the combination is n factorial over r factorial n minus r factorial. N factorial is 6, and then 6 minus 4 factorial. Right, 6 factorial is, if we put in a calculator, that's 720 divided by 2, so 360. So that is, we do it by hand. Of course, the calculator, we can just go to math, probability, and of course, we choose option number 2 for permutation. But we have to enter 6 first, and then we do that. Of course, that's what we have. And the combination will be 9 factorial over 9 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. So you have 9 factorial over 6 factorial 3 factorial. 9 factorial is 9, 8, 7, 6. And we'll stop there. At the bottom, 6 factorial 3 factorial. Cancel that out. 3 factorial is 6. Just that. 9 times 8 times 7 divided by 6, 84. Right, if we just say it, 9 should get the same thing either way. Right. Now, restaurant offer salad with 2 types of lettuce. So lettuce, there are 2 and 5 different toppings and 5 different dressing. How many we can order? Just multiply it. So we use the multiplication rule when there's multi-stage of the problem. We select 2 types of lettuce, 2 options, 5 options for toppings and 5 options for dressing, and multiply all of that, we have 50. Right, so that's all. Now suppose license plates are made using 2 letters followed by 2 digits. So this is letter. How many plates can be made if the repetition of the letter and the digits are allowed? So there are 26 letters, but only 10 digits. So we do that. And that's what we have, 67,600. So let's just multiply. Right, next, how many ways can the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer be chosen from a club with 9 members? So they have 1, 2, 3, 4 different roles. President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer. Right. Now there are 9 members, so any 9 of them can be a president. But whoever is the president, we cannot choose that again. We have to choose the remaining 8 for VP, and then we have to choose remaining 7 for secretary and 6 for treasurer. So we just do that. Right. Of course, we can also use permutation of, we select from 9 for 4 position. The reason is permutation because the rows are different. The order does matter, right? So the rows are different, or we cannot interchange any of this. So first we do that. It's 126. There are 5 women running in a race. How many different ways go to first, second, and third place finish occur? So there are 5, and we choose people to finish first, second, and third. Of course, all the order does matter. The person finished first, of course, is winning the race, and the person second come after that. So we cannot interchange them. So that case, just permutation of 3 out of 5 because there are 3 positions out of 5 people. We have 60. Of course, we can use the slot as well. There's 5 people to win, but excluding that one, we have 4 left to win the second, and excluding those 2, we have 3 left. Of course, either way, we have 60. Right, so that was permutation. Now we have combination. There are 13 members on the board of directors. If they form a subcommittee of 5, so a committee of 5 meaning the roles are the same. So I will write this on this form. If the roles are the same, then the order they are selected does not matter. So with that, it is a combination. For combination, do not draw a slot. That will be wrong. Combination. So in this case, we have picked out of 13, 5 position. So just 13 combination. So pick 5 out of 13. We have 1287. So if order does not matter, we use combination. A pool of possible jurors consists of 15 men and 10 women. 100 different jurors consists of 5 men and 7 women. Right, so there's 2 slots. The first slot is we choose the men in the juror, and there are 15 men, and we have to choose 5 of those. And there are 10 women, and we have to choose 7 of those. So when we do that, we calculate how many times. Right, first 15, 5. We have that, and then 10, 7. So 3003 times 12, 120. So that's what we have, 360, 360. Right. So because we choose the man and then choose the women, or choose the women then choose the man. Those are 2 different states, and we just multiply the result. Right. So that is counting. Now we use counting to find probability. A bag contains 7 red marbles, 2 blue, and 3 green. What is the probability that a random select marble is blue? So how many blue do we have? First, the total. We have 7 plus 2 plus 3, and that is 12. And now we're going to choose 2 blue out of 12. So that's 1 over 6. I think we just leave the fraction like that. Next, 3 fair coins are tossed. Find the probability of getting the same thing on all 3 coins. Right. Now, should we think about this? How do we go about this? Remember, if we can count, we can do the probability. Right, so there are 2 coins. The first one could be true or false. And after that would be true or false. And after that, true or false. Right, so if we list them, there will be 8 different scenarios, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll just straight the path, there will be 8 total. And we want the same thing on 3 coins, so we're talking about head and tail, not true and false. So it's the same thing as the logic with true and false, but we use head and tail instead of true or false. Sorry. So the tail, or we have head. There's 2 of those scenarios, so probability will be 2 out of 8 or 1 out of 4. Right, so there's 8 total, and out of those, 2 of them have the same thing on 3 coins, tails, or heads. Next, a card at random is drawn at random at 25 card deck. Find the probability that the card is not a queen. So there are 4 queen, 4 different queen. If it's not a queen, there are 52 minus the 4 queen. We have 48 cards left. Now we have 52 total, and there are 48 of them. So we just do that. divided by 52. Convert to fraction. 12 over 13. Right. Now fair dice roll. What is the probability of getting a 3 or 6? So fair die, there will be 6 different scenarios, 1 to 6, and out of those we have 3 or 6. 3 or 6, there are 2 scenarios out of 6 total. So there are 2 out of 6, which is 1/3. Simple enough. So we count how many we have in total, and then how many we have in that particular event. In that particular event, divide by the total. Give us what we want. Right. Next, a spinner has region number 1 to 21. What is the probability that the spinner will stop at an even number or a multiple of 3? So if it has the region number from 1 to 21, meaning that the total there are 21 options, right? From 1 to 21. Now we want this particular event of even number or multiple of 3. So we just list them. Even number less than 21, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Now multiple of 3. 3, 6 already have, 9, 12 already have, 15, 18 already have, and then 21. So we count we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 of the numbers in this set or this event. I have the total, and that is 2/3. So simple. Just count how many we have in total, and we divide how many we have in that particular event by how many we have in total. So that's all we have. Right. Next, a group of students were asked if they carry an ATM and own the data here. Find the probability that he or she own an ATM card, given that the student is a freshman. So we have to be given first is a freshman of 60, so that's the total of 60. And what is, so that freshman, for the probability that he or she own a credit card, ATM card, so we have to have 21 divided by 60. Only for freshmen. 0.35. 3 decimal places. So that's good there. Right. Next, a group consists of 6 men and 5 women. 4 people are selected to attend a conference. In how many ways can 4 people be selected from this group of 11? How many ways can 4 men be selected from 6 men? And find the probability that the selected group will consist of all men. Right. We have quite a few things here. How many ways can 4 people are selected from this group? The group has 11 people, and we select 4. Right, that's 330. And in how many ways 4 people can select that answer? How many ways can 4 men be selected from a group of 6 men? So we select 4 out of 6. 4 men out of 6. Let's give us 15. So if we want, there are 15 ways of select the 4 men out of 6. Now find the probability that selected group will consist of all men. So we have 15 out of 330. And that's what we have. If we want fraction, it's 1/22. Right. So, how many we have total regardless of men or women? So we have 4 out of 11, and after that 4 out of 6. And we have 15 in that particular case over 330 of the whole thing. Right. Next, a box contains 22 widgets. 4 of them are defective, and if the 4 are selected at random, find the probability that all of them are defective and none of them are defective. Right. So it's good that all are defective. There are 22, and if all of them are defective, right? First, we have 22 widgets, 4 which are defective. So the 22 are total. So first we have to say it, and for us shown at random. So 2 to have 4 out of 22. So that's the total we can get for the combination of just big 2 out of 22, big 4 out of 22. That's what we had. Oh, 22. Right, that's what we have. Right, and then so that's the total. Now find the probability that, of course, we have 4 defective. If all defective, there's only one case. I should say C44. So it's going to be 1. So put this together, we have 1 out of this, and still on the calculator 7,215. Right. So that's much we know. And if none of them are defective, for none are defective, we have to choose 22, which is that not defective, and we'll pick 4 of those. We'll pick 4, and we have 7,015, 315. If none of them are defective, I'm sorry, this one, if 4 of them are defective, 18 of them left that are undefective. Sorry. Right. 3060. So this scenario we have 3060, and we just divide by the total of that. So that's what we have. If we keep this a fraction, 612 over 1463. Right, so it's straightforward. What we have total, and then what we have in this particular case, and the probability of that particular case is that number divided by the total. Right, so that's what we have. Next we have 4 samples here of the type of sample. So the sample is good if it well represent the population. Right, so the first one, we have 35 math majors, 34 music, and 65 history majors. Selected from 244 math major, 453 music major, and 550 history. Right, what the sampling technique is this? So this look like they divide to groups, and each of them have math major, music major, history. So there's the major are all different, and there's no overlap here. So that's first one. Next, how to answer the question. So in this case, what we randomly select 244 math major at the State University. So in that case, they divide into group, and then we pick some in each group. So that have to be stratified. Right, so we divide to a bunch of groups and we pick some in each group. Next, at the local technical school, 5 auto repair classes are randomly selected and all the students from each class are interviewed. What sampling technique is used? Right, so in this case, 5, so we choose some of the class, but then all of the students in that class are selected. So in this case, it's a classic cluster because we choose the whole group. Yeah. Next. So that's the keyword. We choose all. Right. A sample consists of every 35th worker from a group of 5,000 workers. What sampling technique was used? Right? Now, next we have a sample consists of every 35th worker from a group of 5,000. So every 35th, so that is systematic. Right. So cluster is we choose the whole group, and then the stratify we choose some for each group. Right. So that's the difference between the systematic and random sample. It's just easy to determine. Based on 9,000 response and 45,500 questionnaires sent to the members. Estimate that the annual salaries. What sampling technique is this? 9,000 response from that. Measure estimate the annual. So in this case, it's just a simple random sample. Yeah. So 44,500 and just 9,000. We choose 9,000 response from that much. So kind of, I didn't say anything, but that would be the simple random sample. Right, next, the preschool children and at the Good Elementary School were asked to name their favorite color. So this is what we have. Now construct the frequency distribution and the relative frequency distribution. Now we're just excluding the relative, just the frequency distribution, meaning we just count how many we have on each. Right. So we just go with the color, and then the frequency, meaning we count how many we have. Purple, that 2 and 3. Right, next we have green. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now blue. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. And then red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And finally yellow. There's only the one there, yellow. Yeah, just count how many we have for each category, in this case each color, and that's pretty much straightforward there. Right, next. The numbers of home runs that Mark McGwire hits in his first 13 years are given. Construct a stem and leaf. So on the stem and leaf we have a line. The stem and the leaf is the last digit. So we look for there's a single digit. There will be 3 and 9 and 9. And next, we don't have any ones. We have a 2. And that's it. Now, any 3. 32, 33, 39, and then 39. Yeah. So we write the last digit on the right and everything else on the left. And then any 4s, 49, 42, and 5, 52, 58, and then 70. So no 6 and 70. Right. So, however, in the stem and leaf, we have to write in ascending order of the leaves. If it's blank, don't put 0 there. That's confusing. That may be understood as 10. Right, so we just leave it blank if there's nothing there. 3, 2, 3, 9, 9. That increasing order, which is good. 4. This we have to say 2 first, and then 9, 5, 2, and 8. 6. There's none. 7. There's 0. Right. So that's what we have. So if we want to, we can say it. How about we denote that as 32. Right, so that's stem and leaf. The last digit on the right to be the leaves. Everything else on the left will be the stem. And the leaves have to be in increasing order. Right. Next we find the mean, the median, and the mode for the following statistic. That's very simple. The mean, just calculate, add all of them up, divide by how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 of them. So we're just going to add 10 of them. 71 plus 74 plus 67 plus 71 plus 64 plus 72 plus 71, 65, 66, and 69. Right, that's 690. And then if we divide by 10, that is the mean. So the mean, we add all of this up. 690 divided by 10, so that's 69. Next, we find the median. The median is in the middle, so we have to rearrange them. So we can pick the one in the middle, right? So 64 is the lowest. Then 65, 66, 67, 64, 5, 6, and 7, and then 69. And then 71, 2, 3, so 3 of them. And then 72 and 74. Right, so if we say there are 10 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we pick the one in the middle. So this is an even, so we have to, if there's exactly one in the middle, it's good. If it's not, we have to take the middle two and we find the average of those two. 69 plus 71 divided by 2 is 70. So this is the median, the one in the middle. Since this is an even, we take the middle two and find the average. And the mode is the one that occurs the most. And we see here the mode is 71 because 3 of them. Right. Next, the rule score by a random sample 16. Add magnum odd, change this to 15. And ignore the first one. Now we have 15. Now find the mode, the median, the mean, and the mode. So the mean, of course, we're going to add all 15 of them and divide by 15. Right, so we have that, and divide by 15, and we have that. So about that, now the mean, that was the mean. Now the median, we just put them in increasing order, 0 and 2. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there are 2, 7. And then 10 and 10 up. We did say 2, 7, right? And then 10 and 10. And then 19, 21, 24, and 30. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait. Did we miss something? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we missed one number. 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7. Oh, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there are 15, an odd number of them. We're going to pick one in the middle, in the median, so they have to be the 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we pick this one, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 on the left, 7 on the right. The one in the middle is 7. That is the median. And then the mode that occur the most at 3 of them to 7. Right. So that. Next, we find the range. The range is just the lowest distance from the lowest to the highest, or the highest minus the lowest. So in this data, the highest is 6.7 and the lowest 1.7. So subtract them, it's just 5. So that is the range. Right. The sample standard deviation. He would just do that by hand. So in that case, standard deviation is defined to be the distance between the numbers to the mean. So first we find the mean, and then from that we find the difference from that mean. Right, so first calculate the mean. I'll add all of them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. That's 59.333. So we keep that number in mind. So the standard deviation, this is the sample. So it's defined to be, if we do this by hand, we're going to take 88 minus the mean, and then we square it, and then plus now the 87 minus 59.33 square, and then do all of that until you take all the numbers. And we all divide by it. This is the sample, so it's n minus 1, so 9 minus 1 is 8, and we'll take the square root. So do that, we get the numbers. But even better, we're just going to use the calculator here. Right. So hit stat, edit, and we enter all the numbers. 88, 87, 21, 86, 38, 44, 43, 47, and 80. Right? So put that in the list, stat into the list, and then hit stat, go to calculate one variable statistic in L1. Right? And we have the mean, and the sample one is the one with the S, so that's 25.74. Once again, hit stat, edit, enter the list, and then stat, calculate one variable statistic L1, and then calculate. And that's what we have. Of course, we can also do this by hand, which should give us the same thing. Right, with that, we finished reviewing Math 1332. As always, thank you for watching.